Hey everybody, what's going on? Welcome
Hey.
to this Sunday kickback show where
Yeah.
my friend Jane Theory and I will be talking The Expanse. Ooh. How are you,
Woo.
Jane?
I'm doing great. How are you?
I'm good. I'm good. It's been a chill day. I cleaned my house,
I've
just
done absolutely nothing today.
oh good.
Well,
Oh
put out some
good.
videos, I guess that's something, but
You did put out videos. I saw that yeah, I
yeah.
saw things. I was like, ooh. And tell us about your channel, Jane.
Oh, so I mainly do movie and television reviews and some pop culture commentary. You can also find me on Twitter and Instagram, uh, and Parlor at Jane Theory. Yeah.
Nice. Yeah, so Jane and I are also on a couple of shows together
Yeah.
called Rogue Entertainment and Rogue 4. I always get those mixed up and the days. It's a bunch of cool people that get together and talk about nerdy stuff. And yeah, we kick it and it's pretty cool. Um, so yeah, but today we're gonna talk about The Expanse because
Woo.
it's some of our like one of our favorite shows. Is it one of your favorite shows right now?
It is my favorite show right now.
Like the favorite?
Yeah, it's the favorite. It's the best
Ah,
in terms of quality, shows out right now. There's not a whole lot to choose from,
it's true.
but this is definitely the one I watch repeatedly each
Hmm.
episode and enjoy it even more the second, third, and fourth time around. I
That's
can't say that
awesome.
about a lot of shows.
I don't think I've rewatched The Expanse yet once because I usually like watch something like all the way through and then I'll rewatch it so
Yeah.
that I can forget everything. So I may watch it again soon because I'm starting to forget things. Hey Zakra, thank you for being here and
Hey,
Price is Right review. What's
hello.
up? What's up? Yeah, he's also part of the Rogue crowd that we hang out with.
Mm.
Um, yeah. So who's your favorite? Or you have you read the books?
I have not. I have not read the books. They're on my list of things to do, but I have not gotten to them yet. But, the thing too with me is if the adaptation is really good,
Mhm.
um, I'm not as in a hurry necessarily to read the books because sometimes I start to feel like, is the book gonna be as good? Is it in this case?
That's
I
how
don't
I
know.
feel because that's kind of, and also because I know the books technically haven't finished. By the way, hi Jeff. Hi Jeff.
Hey, Jeff.
Thanks for being here. That's what happened to me with Game of Thrones.
Mm,
So when I originally started watching Game of Thrones was right after season one ended, and I was like, what? Like the
mhm.
main character's dead? What? So I went and read the books, and I like because I couldn't believe that's how it went down. And then I just I read all the books until it wasn't, I figured out it wasn't all of them because it wasn't finished. And then, but I realized then that I kind of thought like, I kind of wish that I hadn't read the books now because
Yeah.
the series was so good. And I feel like I may have thought of it differently if I didn't know what was happening in the books.
Yeah.
Like I may not have hated it as much as I do now.
If you knew what happened in the books?
If I didn't know what
If
happens
you
in the
didn't know?
books. Yeah.
Um, I think I probably would still hate it because it was so jarring between, um, when they ran out of books to
Mhm.
when they started making up their own thing. It was so different that I think I still would have been upset because, I mean, at that point, nothing was making a whole lot of sense anymore,
Hmm.
for
Yeah.
me, so yeah, I mean, I don't know. I think
But
they
see,
upset everyone, book readers and not.
I think that's because I read the books though. I feel like there's a lot of it that went in there that I was like, would I have hated this much if I didn't know what was gonna happen? Like,
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know. But that's one of the reasons I haven't read The Expanse. And
Mhm.
it's also because The Expanse is very expansy. Like there's a lot of books. So I'm like, oh my God, I have to like really commit some time to this. And I have a big reading list. So, and then the show is so good that I'm like, I kind of want to just watch the show and see what
Right.
happens.
It's not as much of a priority this time.
Yeah, it really isn't. Jeff Beeler says Ty and Dan are reimagining the book stories for the screen. They manage to surprise and delight you. Hmm.
I've heard that too. I've actually heard that the show is better than the books. So
I've heard that too, like from like here and there. I have read the books and novellas and chatted with the authors. Ooh, that's interesting. That's interesting. Well, who's your favorite character, Jane?
okay, so it's difficult. It's difficult to say because I do like the entire, little main crew. Um, Shoot, if I had to pick one, I do like Holden.
Okay.
Um, but I also like Amos because I feel, he's gone through so much,
Mm-hmm.
and and yet he has his soft side, but he also is very strong and protective
Mm-hmm.
of people who become his family. And I really respect that about him, the sort of no nonsense type of guy. Um, but and Holden has always, well, I guess we'll get into that a little bit more, but his personality is almost like the reluctant hero.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know, that doesn't appeal to me as much as someone who is simply going to stand for and protect their family and its unquestioned, loyalty. Um, I don't know. I really like it. So if I guess it comes down to Holden and Amos, and Amos probably wins me over on that.
I'm kind of the same too. I wouldn't say Amos is my favorite character, but over Holden, I
Mhm.
prefer Amos because I think Amos is a little bit more, I don't know, he's just so, he's more complicated than Holden.
Yeah,
So I
yeah.
like that about his character. I feel like Holden sometimes is a, how do I say this nice way? He's a total idiot sometimes. I'm just
He
like,
is.
dude, what?
He's a bit of an airhead. He just sort of stumbles into situations. I mean, he makes the right call at times, but
Hmm.
often, in the most reckless way possible.
Yeah, and like for example, when like in this new episode that we were like the newest episode, when they find out like that girl sat like she kills Fred Johnson,
Yeah,
and then she goes, like the moment that happened, I was like, the Rossi sabotaged, like,
right.
because she was the head, head to like head engineer working on the Rossi.
Yeah,
And
Sakai.
and so I was like, there's no way that she didn't, do some funny business with with the ship. So
Right.
you have to go in and take a look at that now. And then like the episode had to like, and he didn't, like, I was like, how is he so dumb? And then like not only did he not do that, like Naomi had to call him and be like, don't start the ship. And I'm like,
Right.
well, duh, like, come on now, like, she
You
was
would
a total saboteur.
you would think he would have figured that part out, but you also he there were signs, I think, along the way that she was a problem.
Yes.
Um, but he never picked up on any of it.
No, there was definitely signs. Although I have to admit, I kind of had my suspicions of the other guy, the guy that was the like Fred Johnson's like second in command,
Oh,
like
yeah,
the
him.
the dude.
Yeah.
I forget his name. He was. I was like, oh, I feel like maybe this guy, like,
Yeah.
maybe he's got some funny business going on. And then and my husband and I were kind of like, yeah, yeah, like we think he did it. And then all of a sudden, my husband's like, I don't know, I think it's this girl actually. And I was like,
Wow.
no, oh no. And
So
then
he
it turned
called
out,
it.
yeah, he totally called it. And I was like, oh my God, you called it. Hi, Mando.
Hey, Mando.
Hello. Jeff says Wes Chatham has worked so hard creating the on-screen character of Amos. It pays off. I agree. He's great.
He is. I mean, all of the actors do such a great job too. Like, I love just watching them. They bring their A game 100% of the time.
Absolutely. Mando, thank you for popping in here and showing your support. I really appreciate it. Thank you so much. Uh Jeff says holding secret power is incredible luck. That's
Yeah,
true. I
true.
feel like he's always there's just something always about like him getting lucky and like it's like, oh, okay.
Yeah,
Um
he just stumbles into things.
he just stumbles into things. Now, what's interesting to me though is how you said like as far as the main crew goes, because
Mhm.
that's how I kind of am with the Expanse too. My favorite characters weren't actually part of the main cast.
Mm.
My favorite characters were Miller.
I
Uh,
loved Miller.
yeah, originally when I started watching The Expanse was because of Miller. That's why season 1 is still my favorite season is because can I just flip through these images? Hold on. I'm sorry. I'm learning as I'm going along here. Like, do you see that or no? No,
Another
you don't.
thing
You
another
don't see
thing too about season 1 is you saw more of the, I love the Belters, which we'll
that.
get to.
We'll
Um,
get to that.
but you saw more of the in their world building effort in the
Mhm,
first season. You saw
mhm.
how distinct the Belters were
Yes.
physically.
Yes.
And I hate that we got away from that. And I understand that not all of the Belters have that physiology, but it was really I think it added to the story visually to actually see them be physically different. And I
Mhm.
think it would've made Inaros' statement at the end make more sense to people
You
about
don't
them being
see
a
it.
different species.
Man, it's hard to change share pictures on what's it called? When you're like
Yeah,
trying to share just pictures on the like the desktop or whatever. It's like I don't
weird.
understand why it has to be so difficult. Sorry. But yeah, I agree with you. I agree 100%, Jane. They did go away from that a little bit and I see this is why I was saying is that I started watching the series because I I love sci-fi,
Mhm.
but one of the things that I love even more when it comes to sci-fi is when they mix kind of like the genres together. So in season 1, it was as much of a detective murder mystery kind of like noir style uh thing that I really resonated to in
Yeah,
space.
right.
And Miller's like detective, like it was kind of like a Dick Tracy kind of, that kind of character, like Sherlock Holmes, Dick Tracy in space. And I was like, this is fucking awesome. Like I was so into that whole Julie Mao thing and like him trying to find her. And it was so cool to see that. And then that's why like season 1 was my favorite. And then when he quote unquote died, I was
Yeah.
like actually sad. I was like, oh my God, no, but like I knew that he would be back because obviously, like, no one ever really dies in sci-fi. And the way he died, you could tell that
Yeah,
something mysterious was going to happen. And that's why I really liked season 4 was because he came back and I was like, this is so cool. Like, yay, he's
yeah.
back. Um, but my other favorite character is Ivan Sarala.
Oh,
Um,
she's great.
I love her. And one of the
I
reasons that
love
I
to
love
hate her.
her, hmm?
I love to hate her.
I love to hate her too, and I love her, uh, especially because she's Persian,
Oh, I
and
didn't know that.
yes, and she's an awesome Persian actress, and I loved her in a lot of stuff that I've seen her because I've watched like Persian stuff before that she's been in, and I'm like, oh my God, like when she was in it, when I found out she's in it, I was like, I can't believe she's in it, like this is amazing. And I love like how like she's got such a potty mouth and
Oh, yeah.
she'll just go off like get the fuck out of here, and I'm like I love her. She's like me in
It's like
space.
she's street and classy.
Yes, exactly. She's street and classy. Jeff says Sakai shooting Fred was like Ned Stark gets executed.
Yes. I
Yeah.
I was so shocked. Again, we're getting ahead, I think, but
No, it's fine.
I was so shocked by that scene. I did
Me
not
too.
expect it. I froze. Like, I was just like, "This couldn't have just happened." Like, they
I was
really did
like,
save
there's
him.
no way he's gonna die. Like, no,
Right.
get him out of there, like get him into some sort of medical bay or what's going on. And I didn't think he was gonna die.
And I loved how they established earlier how in space, like, you if you because there's no gravity, um, that they can die faster because their body can't heal or clot,
Mm-hmm.
um,
Mm-hmm.
from that sort of thing. So there was great foreshadowing that we didn't even notice and establishing the rules of the world that then applied in this incredible scene,
Mm-hmm.
that was just so painful to watch.
It was so painful, almost as painful as when I saw Miller die, because
Yeah.
I was like, oh my god, like, and his death was so epic when he died with, like, holding Julie and everything. I was like,
Mhm.
oh my. Jeff says, true. Up to now, we've been getting more views of the future society. Season 5 has had a very narrow focus.
Yeah.
Now, here's the thing with this. I actually quite agree with you, Jeff, because that's one of my things that I've kind of been. It's one of the things I love and hate about The Expanse, because I love The Expanse because it shows kind of like how our society could feel when, like, we go up into space and we start expanding, and how the more things change, the more they stay the same. So our
Right.
differences and the things that we focus on internally will kind of come with us to wherever we choose to go, kind of thing. So I like that in that sense, and how, like, the technology is close to what our technology is and how our future would evolve. But at the same time, I don't like it either. It's weird to say that,
Yeah.
because I like to, when it comes to science fiction, like, I'd like them to, like, expand more on how they think that it would evolve, versus this is kind of like what it would look like in our future. I don't know if you know what I'm saying. Kind of
No,
like,
I get it. I mean, it's like I think you're saying that you prefer to see, a future world that's different, that's more advanced in terms of society.
mm-hmm.
But the reality, I think one of the things I like about The Expanse is that it is close to how it would actually happen. You know, if we look back over the past thousands of years of human history, we
Mm-hmm.
keep making the same mistakes. We
Yeah.
advance and we continue to do the same things. Like, I was amazed when you look back at some of the writings from, like, ancient Egypt, and they're
Mm-hmm.
complaining about the same things we complain about today. They're dealing with the
Yeah,
same
that's what I
issues.
said. The more things change, the more they stay the same. And it's like, it's
Yeah.
just like that. And one of the episodes I remember, like, I think it was in season 2 or 3, when Bobby Draper first goes to Earth, and she's like, this place is kind of like fucked up, because there's, like, it's like a dump almost. Like, there's like
Yeah.
some certain places were very wrecked. And like, we saw it in this new season when Amos went to Earth too. And like,
Mhm.
his, like, kind of like his old hood, and how, like, it was kind of like the same. And it's like they didn't really fix Earth. They just kind of, like, left, and then they're like, well, whatever. Like, Earth's just gonna be Earth. Like, there's still poverty. There's still,
Yeah.
like, all sorts of, like, they're not really a futuristic society in terms of, like, getting rid of our actual problems, which are, like, poverty and, like, class differences and all that kind of stuff.
Well, I think it goes too to the corruption in their government because we know the
Mhm.
Belters are complaining about they're not benefiting from their resources. And we see on Earth that they're not benefiting either. And the only way that happens is if the people in the middle who run everything are keeping things to themselves and not,
Mhm.
not running government properly. And yeah, that's the
So
consequence
you're
of that.
saying Avanzarala is part of the problem?
I think she has been because I mean she puts Earth as her sole priority, but not to the extent of ensuring um that maybe resources are properly managed. She's
Hmm.
indulging in the lifestyle of that particular class that she's a part of too. I mean, um, as much as she hates, or maybe hate is a strong word, as much as she is suspicious of the Martians and the Belters, her her perspective on her government, I don't think is letting her see that they're part of the problem. They're why there's these
Right.
conflicts with the other planets.
I think that her character is starting to learn that though a little bit.
Yeah.
Maybe. I don't know. Because now that she's been ousted, I feel like she's starting to see like how hard it is to actually get shit done when you're not in power. Like that whole like her running around and like nobody was listening to her, and she actually had to like get a hold of like the kitchen staff to get to,
Right.
because everybody was just like, lowballing her and like nobody was listening to what she had to say.
I love
Um,
that.
that was great, and it showed her grit. She was like, you know what? I'm still getting through. I don't give a crap. That's how Persians work. Like it's true. Like Persian people, if you don't answer the phone, we keep calling. We don't care.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
And I love that she was like, I'm gonna get this message through. I don't care who hates me for it.
Mhm.
I don't care if I have to burn every bridge with me standing on it. It's
Yeah,
gonna get done.
that was a great scene, and I also love all her outfits.
Oh,
Because the expanse is so dark, and most of the time when we're like focused on the main crew, they're usually wearing like spacey clothes, and like you get the belters and all wearing like really ugly stuff, and then you see Event Zarala and you're like, yes, like
yeah.
there is definitely a beautiful, like they have a lot of good fashion stuff going on for her, and I just love looking at her in the series because I think
Her
she's great.
her style is amazing.
Mhm. Mhm.
It
Well,
really
her
reflects her
stylist.
personality. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Keith says, I describe the expanse as humanity spreads out into the solar system and we take our baggage with us. I
Mhm.
totally agree. Like 100%. This is what I always talk about, is that like, if you don't fix what's going on right now, like wherever you go, there you are. So if you go out, if you go in space
Right.
and you haven't fixed within, you're still going to be there. You're going to
And,
take your problems with you.
think about it like on Earth as well. I mean, we expanded across the planet and we're still acting the same.
Yep,
So,
yep,
yeah, we'll do the
exactly.
same thing in the solar system.
Yeah. If you were going to be born in that world, where do you think that you would end up? Would you be a belter?
No, I wouldn't be a belter. I think in terms of like real world family history, heavily militaristic. Like a lot of soldiers and just my family has been involved in the military for generations. I feel like we would be Martians. I feel like
Mm-hmm.
that type of culture is more consistent with the type of culture um, that's closest to my family and values and things. But at the
Mm-hmm.
same time, I don't feel like if I grew up in that environment, I would probably have greater empathy for the Belters.
Mm.
Um, I would like the Martian life and what they stand for and what they're trying to do, but I would definitely be supportive of the Belters, and because I wouldn't like how they're being treated. You know?
Now, would that be up to like season 5 in terms of what's going on with Mars? Because when the expanse happens,
Hmm.
when those worlds open up, and like now we see the effects that is having on Mars,
Right.
do you think that you would be like that? You'd be like, screw Mars, like screw this, like this project. Like I'm gonna go and figure out some other world to live on.
Yeah, probably so. I think because that's what the Martians are doing. I mean, they're like we've been spending all this time terraforming and now we have ready-made planets. We don't have
Mhm.
to stay here
You don't have to stay.
anymore.
Mhm.
So, yeah, I'd probably be inclined to leave and go settle somewhere else. But one thing that's weird about the ring gates is that no one's thinking about what if they close?
Well,
Like,
not just that. Like my initial thought was, what's gonna come through?
well, that's
Because
true.
once it opens, like it's open on both sides, man.
Exactly.
So, and that's what I was kind of waiting for in this season and in the next season. I was like, ooh, like, is something gonna come through? Are they gonna regret opening these gates? Because it's gonna be like alien invasion?
No
Like, I was
one
kind of,
no one asked that question. Like no
mm,
one's trying to figure out what they're just running through the gate.
Yeah, they're like,
They're
let's
just
go. And then there was that one belter, who just like, just went in head first. And also, Jeff says the problem in the Expanse is not enough resources for everyone. I think Chrissy is just trying to keep things together for the most part. I agree. I agree. I think she is. Well, especially this season. Last season, she was a lot more conniving, and I think
yeah.
she kind of got what she deserved.
And she's also very Earth-centric. I mean, I
Yeah,
kind of feel like she would sell everybody out for Earth if she had to.
I hate to say it. I think I might be an earther.
Ooh. But you'd probably be one of those high-class Earthers.
Well,
In
I sure as hell wouldn't be like, Amos. I, I, I don't know. I mean, like, I would be like, actually, I don't know if I would be an earther. I think I would be a lunar. Is that a thing? Like, I would want to live on the
the moon?
moon,
Do
and
they live on
then,
the moon?
mhm.
Oh, okay.
Well, like Ivan Sarala right now, she's on the moon.
Yeah, that's true. So I
So
guess you would be. I mean, I guess that's part of Earth. That's
yeah,
for the Earther colonies or whatever.
yeah. So like, I would be like Earth and Moon, and I would travel places. Like, I would go see Mars, and
Yeah,
I don't know if I would be like, I don't care about the Belters. I'd be like, ugh.
it's nowhere
Like,
to visit though. It's more like a
yeah,
worker colony
it's
type
true.
thing.
Soul Assassins here saying, so from y'all to I reckon Expanse is a must watch show. Absolutely.
Yes, it's a
Yes.
must watch.
Yeah. Kai's here says hello, chat.
Hey,
Hello, ladies. Hi, Kai. Yeah. Definitely. Jeff agrees. Jeff agrees with us. Yeah, it's great. It's just like it's complicated, especially for me for season one. Like, I mean, even if you don't get into it, just watch season one because season one is so great on its own merit. That I mean, I don't think you can stop. Personally, I think once you watch season one, you'll be like, okay, I'm in. I'm in for the ride.
the other thing too, I think is really cool about this show is that people have ships
Hmm.
that they can just fly. Like I would love that.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, I would be like an earther that like just travels around. Like, I would get my own spaceship and just
Yeah,
like, like I wouldn't be bound to like the earth or the moon or like whatever. Like, I would just, I don't know, I would just go
yeah.
around
Like
and do
Bobby and
whatever I want.
Alex, they can just go wherever. I love that.
Yeah, yeah. Uh Cavitin Yoche is here. Hello. Thank you for being here. Just remember Walton's premium brew before getting near. Oh my God,
Really
Baroness.
sad.
Wow. Uh,
That's
I'm kind of
funny.
sorry I highlighted that comment now. Thank you very much.
That's
Really should read the book before you highlight them. That's a great lesson. Jeff says Earthers are all over the system, just not like many places. You know what's funny is, yeah, because the dude we just talked about that got shot, he's an Earther.
Yeah.
Yeah,
He's
he's
an
an
Earther
Earther.
who aligned himself with the Belters.
Yeah, and they still don't accept him, and this is why I don't like the
Right.
Belters because they're a bunch of assholes, pretty much.
Well, I think, I mean, you have to, if we're going to compare it to anything, we may compare it to like um uh Native Americans maybe,
Hmm.
where you have a situation where these people who have been mistreated and used by a particular group, now someone from that group is coming over saying, "Hey, trust us. Trust me. I'm supporting you." And it's like, are you really? What
Mm,
is your real motive? Why are you here? Um, but he did have a lot of support too. Like it's more, the Belters are factions.
right.
So he has his loyalists. As do this Holden.
That's true.
You know.
That's true. What do you think of, actually, speaking of Native Americans, which I found out that one of the Belters is of Native American descent. What's her name? I know her name. Philip Inar, not Philip Inaris. I'm sorry, that's the kid. A drummer. She's a Canadian and she's of
Oh,
Native American descent, and I thought that was really cool.
that's cool.
Do you like that character?
I don't.
You
I mean,
don't.
I don't like her at all. As a matter of fact, I have reviews of up until up until episode 5.
Mhm.
Episode 5 will drop later today. The thing about her character is I almost feel like they haven't quite known what to do with her.
Mm.
She represents a faction now, but it's almost as if she serves simply to exist as a
Mm.
representative of the fact that the Belters are faction divided. Because what has she done, really?
Well, I think that like up to now, you're right in that sense, but I think that part of that reason was because of what happened with her and her letting Marcos go. So I think that that was like a turning point for her character, and we haven't seen it yet, but I think that, like, for example, like in this season when she was talking about, hold on, let me see if I can pull up the episode. Because she was talking about like how she wanted to, drink that drink uh with
Mhm.
with the guy that died, and she like wasn't able to, and she's like really considering going after Marcos, and I was like, yes, girl, like go get your revenge, like, because what's going on was like completely, what's the word, like it was so shocking that she would let Marco go, right?
Right,
I think that that was, like that's eating her. That's like eating like with like inside her. And now that the other guy's dead, um, what's his name again?
Fred.
Fred. Yes. Now that Fred is dead, she's, and Marco killed him too.
Right,
So like two of the closest people she's like allied herself with, now she's got like beef, like, and personal beef, and now has an invitation to go and meet with this guy,
right.
and I don't think that she's gonna go there and with a purpose of meeting him. I think she's going there with the purpose of killing his ass, but
I don't know.
and I
Um,
think that she
well,
might get betrayed by some of her shipmates, because I don't think her shipmates want to do that. Where was
there
that
you
scene?
go. And how would that end up if she actually is killed? If
I
she's
don't know if she's
betrayed?
gonna get killed. I don't know though. Maybe she might be.
I don't think she's gonna kill him though.
No, but I think she's gonna have a hand in it, and I think she deserves to, because because of what happened with her. Like there's definitely something going on there.
Now Jeff is saying that Drummer on screen is a composite of a few characters. That's what she feels like to me, and maybe that's why I don't like her very much. It
Hmm.
doesn't seem to fit in one story. I don't know. It's just weird.
I agree. I really liked her chemistry with Ashford, and now I feel like she's kind of lost that edge because like he's gone. So
Yeah.
I'm kind of like, so what's she gonna do? Like I like, it was weird because I was like expecting her to be like, I'm gonna go get this mofo, and then she kind of was like with this lesbian girl.
You're frozen. We're having technical difficulties.
Ah,
You're back.
I'm back. I thought maybe like the stream went down because I was like fast forwarding on that episode. Like,
No,
wasn't doing anything bad. Trying to get still shots, man. You never know anymore with freaking YouTube.
you don't. You really don't.
But I'm here. I'm here. The show must go on. Uh so yeah, I mean, I don't know. I guess we'll see what happens next episode, but I feel like I feel like something is coming down the pipeline for her because like I feel like this girl was all trying to like lull her and be like don't worry, like, you know. And I was like, no, girl, revenge is a dish best served cold. Like, go get your revenge. Like, you know, go do something. By the way, Jimmy's in the house. Hi, Jimmy. Thank you for
Hey,
being
Jayne.
here. The best character is maybe Amos as well. Yeah,
Yeah.
Jane also really likes Amos. And so do I. I think Amos is great. I think
Well,
one of
I
my
don't
least
even
favorite. I'm sorry, go ahead, Jane.
I was just gonna say last comment on her. I hope that they do something with her because I'm bored with her. Like at
Yeah,
this point, she needs some role in this plot.
she does. And I think it's going to be, you know, because she's going to where Naomi is
Hmm.
and she's got beef. So I think that she's definitely going to like maybe help Naomi escape or maybe
Yeah.
help Naomi take that guy down cuz she wants blood. I can tell it's in her eyes. Um Now, what do you think of? Okay, so here's the thing. I was saying earlier that I liked season 4 better because when they went into the expanse, like when they opened up the expanse situation and they went into the going to the next worlds, we're gonna see more. Now, even if Miller is gonna be there only little bit like okay whatever because he's dead technically, so it's like okay I wasn't expecting him to stick around for end, right? But I liked that it was talking about expanding into the other worlds. And then now in season 5 it's like we're back to our own solar system and our own galaxy and whatever, and we're just going back to like oh no, like Marcos is gonna send asteroids to get Earth, and now we're just all worried about the Belters versus Earthers, and this is just the whole thing. And I'm like, wasn't that like the plot of season 1? Like, I don't
Yeah.
understand.
Yeah, I mean you're
There
right.
she
It's
is.
like we're back. Yeah. It's like we're back to square one with human versus human and this alien threat that no one is paying any attention to. I too was excited when we saw the new worlds. I was wanting to see more of that. I
Hmm.
think we spent more time because they could have shown more conflict on those planets. I mean, we saw a little bit of it between the corporations and the Belters. Show us more of that. Maybe, if the Martians and the Belters end up on a planet and we see that planet and how they interact. I would have loved that. But it seems like the human versus human conflict in this solar system is just what's driving the story. So they always come back to that. First, it was Earth versus Mars. Now it's Earth versus the belt. And I don't know how many times they can repeat that story.
Yeah, that's where I'm at right now. I'm like, okay, and I like what's going on with Bobby Draper's character too. I mean, last season she was kind of MIA for me, but I liked that now she's teamed up with Alex, and they're doing their thing, and they're kind of uh
Yeah.
she's trying to salvage the little honor that has like that Mars has left, like because I mean, if they're supplying the Belters the weapons and all that stuff, like I don't that's kind of crazy, especially an admiral guy. Like that's a lot of corruption, like even more than Earth. Like
Well, I think
that's not good.
it's like you said, though. I think the Martians have just been like, you know what? Whatever. We don't care anymore.
Jeez. Yeah, let's just sell all of
Like,
our weapons
we don't
and
even need this stuff anymore. We're leaving anyway, so.
which is stupid because if you're going out into uncharted territory, you're gonna need your freaking weapons just in case you run into freaking aliens that want to kill you.
You would think so.
I'm so confused about all that.
Hey,
I'm like,
let me say
what?
this. I love these 2
Hmm.
together.
You do?
Like, I'm hoping they become a thing.
Oh, like a ship, like
Right.
yeah, like Bobby. Wait, what? Alex Bob?
Balak?
Alex Bob. I'm the worst at making up those kind of names. Abob?
I
Yeah.
like Alex.
Balix.
I
Okay.
like them too.
Balix. That's pretty good.
I like how she brings him to reality. Like every time he gets off in this thing about him and his wife getting back together or settling down or leaving, she's like, "No, dude, that's not you.
No.
None of
Yeah,
it's
she's
you.
like, come on,
He doesn't want you back.
get over it.
Get over it." It's like, man up.
She was such a total bitch actually about it. I was like, dude, you could be a little bit nicer. Like, damn.
There's no time for that. There's no
Oh,
time for
there's
nice.
the Belter crew who I think they're gonna totally backstab that girl. I don't know.
Really?
Well, at least some of them, not all of them. But I think some of them don't mind what's going on with Marcos and what Marcos is trying to accomplish because they're still Belters, you know?
Exactly, and I understand that perspective. I think as far as they're concerned, is what's done is done. Even if they didn't agree with it,
Yeah.
it's done. He's declared their independence, so why wouldn't they embrace it? I'm sure
Mm.
during the Revolutionary War, there were some Americans who were like, "I don't like all this violence," but
Hmm.
I do like that we're separating from England.
Yeah. Jamie says drummer is certainly going to mess up the bad guys. It's what she does. I agree. I think that's what's going to happen.
Yeah,
And Jeff said, I feel like drummer has been on vacation and now she's going to go back to work. That's how I feel like. Like she was just like, and like that's the last thing that like Buddy being killed
mhm.
was the last straw. She's like, okay, that's it. This guy's going down. I've had enough of this bullshit. But I guess we'll find out. Um, Now, the other thing that really bothered me about this episode, which and also bothers me about the Belters, is this dude here, and what's going on with Naomi. What was that guy's name? Um,
The older
Sorry, I'm trying to. Yeah, the older dude that she like beat up to like be able to get at this guy. Okay, so she had a conversation with this dude.
Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah.
And she's trying to like convince him that I'm trying to get a good shot of this guy's
I
face,
get the
but
sense that this guy was like a father figure maybe to her.
yeah,
She was betrayed by him.
there was a part though where she's like talking to him and he says like, I don't care about like, going to another planet because she was like, we can go to other planets now. Like, we
Mhm.
can do this now. And he's like telling her like he's pointing out her weaknesses and he's like, well, like you tried to go on there, like look what happened to you, right?
Yeah, that's
And
true.
and while that's true, she's saying like in the long run though, we can have our own planets and we don't have to be freaking Belters anymore. And he's like, yeah, then we wouldn't be Belters anymore. And I'm like, so like wh- so you're
Yeah.
like in a few generations
Mhm.
your offspring are gonna be planet people then and they'll have their own planet and then they'll evolve and like become a better society. They don't have to like stay in space and be these weak kind of like work their ass off for basically nothing all their life kind of of people. They can go and be actual planet people somewhere else. And also not necessarily true either, like because like you can go to the space of other places and be like the belters of other spaces and make your own space stations and make your own like space faring species that I'm like like it's just I feel like people like belters like him are so short-sighted in that sense. They're like, no, we're belters and that's it, that's all we're ever going to be. And I'm like,
Yeah.
is that
And I
I don't
think
know.
too, part of it is about culture and not they're so afraid they're gonna lose their identity,
Hmm.
if they separate or if they expand, um, especially if they lose those things. And again, it sort of goes back to why it was so important how they were represented on screen,
Hmm.
because what they're afraid of, I think, is losing that thing that makes them a distinct people. And you can compare it almost to the obsession with race some people have today.
Yes,
Not
I
wanting
can see
to
that.
intermix or travel because they're afraid that in a generation or two, their kids aren't gonna be the same anymore as they are, instead of just seeing themselves as humans, instead of
Exactly.
a human race and a human world, and that they're expanding as a human race and people. They are so stuck on, "But we can't change. If we change, if we move, if we interact with these other people, then we're gonna lose who we are," not
Mm-hmm.
realizing that they're not that different, ultimately. So, yeah, I mean, it's an interesting thing how they showed that as it almost as a reflection of real world politics.
I completely agree with you. And speaking of that too, was this guy, Marcos,
Yeah.
he said something similar. He said something like that too. He was saying something like, we're like, in his last speech, in his episode 4 speech, when he's
Mhm.
like, oh yeah, like, I did it. His little kind of like, God, I don't want to say the word. Actually, I was gonna say that. I was gonna say a bad word, but those terrorist groups, that like come and take, responsibility for the actions they commit.
Mhm.
Um, and I'm like, dude, he's like, yeah, we're more than like the species now. We're more than what? What did he say? He said something like we're not the human species anymore or something like that. And I was like, you're the same species. Like, what are you talking about? You're all human.
Right, and I wish that's why I go back to that. I wish they had shown, um, what they look like, because if someone is just hearing this, they're not gonna understand where he's coming from, because I don't think he means it literally, but I think that he's just talking about how the other planets have manipulated them based on their physical differences. Just like the guy, it may have been even in season 1, where they were
Hmm.
t
When they put them in the tank,
torturing exactly,
yeah. Hmm.
taking advantage of their physique,
Yeah.
because they know they're different, and they kind of view them as different.
Hmm.
The other people do view them almost as if they're not quite human anymore, but you don't get that sense when you see them all these different shapes and sizes.
Hmm.
They should look more like Naomi and the ones we saw in season 1,
Yeah,
Willer
I
and the
agree.
others.
Yeah, I just thought it was really funny because I was like, you guys are all the same freaking species. You're human. Like, how
I
do
Yeah, it resonated because again, I like them, so I still see them as what they're supposed to look like, and I
He's
found out
totally not my type. Like, they're totally not my type. Like, completely, like, no, no.
I like
Mm.
them.
But you're into tattoos too. I'm so not into
The
tattoos.
tattoos, it's that they are so incredibly smart too. Like, these are the tech people. These are the engineers. These are the ones who know the equipment inside and out. They know the ships
They
and
know the equipment. Is did I just hear that right?
Yeah,
Did I
yeah.
just say?
Jim? No, thanks. I'm good. That's what she said. Pam?
My mother's coming.
That's what she said. No.
Perfect.
Oh my god.
Oh my god.
Oh my god. That was amazing.
But yeah, I mean,
So
they're
yeah,
really
so
smart and they're really tall. So I like that. I'm sorry.
yeah. So here's the thing. Wow, so you like giant guys.
Oh yeah. I mean,
So
the guys in my family are
so
all tall, so it's weird when I see guys who aren't. That's just what I grew up around. Like, my dad was almost 7 feet tall.
wow. So drunk 3PO, he was really handsome then. Because he's really tall, I've heard.
Well, he is the most handsome man on YouTube.
That's true. That's true. I'm sure Jay is gonna clip that if he ever hears it. Uh so do you agree with Marcos's style of terrorism? Like how he's like
I
like
don't. I don't agree with his style of terrorism, but I'm not going to pretend that in human history, people haven't had to use violence to get free.
Get what they
Um,
want.
we did. That's how we got America. That's how all these countries, these powerful countries evolved. At some point, someone said, we're going to break away, and someone said no. And what do you do at that point? It's going to be whoever wins, and it's going to be a war, and somebody's going to win, and whoever wins is going to write the history book. So, it's not the first time. It just reflects how we do things as human beings, I guess.
Yeah. I mean, I somewhat agree with what you're saying, but I feel like when there's so many, especially after the Expanse, like I understand when you have one solar system and you're not technologically advanced enough to be going beyond that. Okay, so I understand that you have a certain amount of resources and you're trying to, say F Mars, F Earth, like, you guys can have those freaking planets. We're going to do our own thing. We're going to be the Belters.
Mhm.
But now, after the Expanse, you're still like, we're gonna ruin what the Earth has, and we're gonna ruin what Mars has, so that we can be the dominant species, and that we can, do what we need to do, where you don't really need to do that anymore because you can go on other planets. It's not like you want
Yes,
Earth for yourself. You could
that's
just
where
go
it
on
falls
other
apart.
planets.
That's
It
where
makes
that's where the story falls apart, and where you're right when you were talking about how it's repetitious. Because at this point, timing wise, it doesn't make any sense. You have, like you said, all these other planets, and in fact, he could have just said, "We have the protomolecule. Don't come to the belt." He didn't have to
exactly.
do anything else because you have the most
That would
powerful
have made
thing
more
in the
sense.
world.
Exactly. That would have made more sense. Like, don't come to the belt, and like that's it. Like, like, I don't get why he's like trying to destroy the earth and stuff like that. Like, he's like,
It's stupid. That's and I love the
it's
writing of
kind of,
the show, but that part didn't make any sense because you're essentially saying, "Hello, we are a nuclear power, so you can't
yeah,
treat us like trash anymore." That's all he needed to say. He didn't
yeah.
need to
And
bomb Earth.
but then he did, and then now they've got a target on their back more than they did before, because they didn't just bomb Earth either. They did the same thing to Mars, because it was like some sort of terrorist act at the same time as the Earth was getting bombed. They bombed the like, not with asteroids, but with something else. They did like the Parliament of Mars. Uh, and then so now, and as the crew was talking before, like the crew of that girl was talking about it. I forget where they were in this thing, but they were talking about it, and and they were saying, well, like, now they're gonna just, treat Belters like shit. Now they're gonna come after us, and it doesn't matter because everything's gonna get more dangerous now, because the inner's gonna hate us even more than before. And it's true, because you just went and freaking bombed their freaking planet with freaking asteroids. Like, so you can't not expect retaliation. This
Well,
crew.
yeah, that's the thing is they've put a target on the back of the Belters who don't want to be a part of it. People who
Exactly.
are just sort of minding their own business. And like you said, it was completely unnecessary under the circumstances. If this had happened in season 1,
Or even season 2 or 3, like before
yeah,
the Expanse gate started, like,
it would
opened.
have made more sense. But right
Much more
now,
sense.
that's why I was saying I don't agree with how he's doing it.
Hmm.
It's like there's a time and place for violent revolution or whatever. But how he's going about it at this time, when they have so many options, it just doesn't make any sense. And when he has the protomolecule, so he has all of the power. He
Hmm.
doesn't have to do anything at the
Is it weird? Is it weird that the only thing I'm excited about with the proto molecule is that somehow Miller will come back again? Like, please.
Do you think he will though?
He might, because he's connected to the proto molecule. So I feel like if he, like, I don't know.
I thought it let him die when he sacrificed himself to stop something. I forget what it was.
The stupid eye thing. By the way, which that's the other thing that I was like, can we see more of that? Like, what was that about? Like,
Yeah.
like, because now the scientists are still on that planet studying what's going on with that thing. And I'm like, this is the kind of mystery I want. Like, I want the otherworldliness. Like, I don't want this weird bickering. And I wonder, based on what you just said, if that's actually the plan. The plan is to kind of bring us back to this petty human squabbles so that maybe for the final season we get like a big, like, instead of you guys having to squabble amongst yourself, you should have been focusing on the gates or whatever, because now you're going to get effed by these aliens or something.
Yeah, I can definitely see that happening because Holden sees them, or he has seen them, and he said that every time he passes through the gate,
Yeah, he connects to something or
and they're
whatever.
getting
Yeah.
angrier and angrier.
Mm-hmm.
So humans are going to be in the midst of this war, I think, and that's when the aliens are going to come and they'll realize that they have bigger problems.
Way bigger problems. And I wonder if then they'll have to. And that's the other thing too that I was like a little annoyed about with. Again, I keep forgetting his name. They got that guy shot. Fred Johnson.
Mhm.
Like, because that whole storyline with like that girl being like, oh, I found out that like Fred Johnson and the Belters are like experimenting on the proto molecules, and I'm like, are you fucking kidding me right now? Like,
Yeah.
after all the shit that they went through, like you're experimenting with the fucking proto molecule. Like, do you not know how dangerous that shit is? Like, and then in the end, he's like, yeah, I was in my bedroom. I was like,
They
what?
always think they can control it, though. That's the thing, that they feel like they can manage it, and they're always wrong.
It's true. It's true. It's like hubris.
It's comparable, I think, even to us with our nuclear weapons. We acquire them, we amass them, we think that we can use them properly when necessary, but all it takes is one little trigger,
Mm.
and people lose it.
What did you
It's over.
think? What did you think of that? Like that scene when like they're trying to get this girl, right? Like when they're fighting. I don't know if it was the last episode or not. Like, I don't, if it was the beginning of this episode or what. When Fred gets shot. I think, yeah, that was the last episode. So like in that fight scene, right? Like, I don't know if you remember or not, but so Holden, he goes in there and he starts shooting at the robot as the robot's like walking away with the proto molecule, while that other girl's like struggling with her. And I'm like, get the human, like you gotta knock her out first. Like, who cares about the fucking robot? You can't hurt the robot. Like, but
Well, I thought he almost had it for a
human
minute
girl,
there when he stuck the thing in the middle of it.
like, but it kept going though.
Yeah, I know.
I was like, what are you doing, Holden? Like, she's there. She's got a gun. Like, she's more dangerous than that robot. You can like follow that robot later, but I just thought that,
No,
like, he was being a total idiot.
No, he didn't want it to get the proto molecule. I mean, he was trying to stop it from getting off their base. So, I mean, that made sense. He could have killed the girl. They need to stop this sample from getting out.
Yeah, but this girl could have killed both of them if she hadn't been subdued. So I'm like, get her first, then get the robot, because all he had to do was shoot her. Like,
That's true.
All he had to do was turn his gun and shoot her once. I was like, what are you doing? Sorry, what was that?
Yeah, I mean, he wanted to interrogate her. I guess he figured one-on-one they could I mean,
She was a reporter. That girl had not, like, she had no combat. It wasn't Bobby Draper we were talking about, like,
Right. Oh, Bobby would have killed instantly.
Bobby, oh my God, Bobby's amazing. Also, like, what did you think of this whole plot line with Amos like going to Earth and hooking up with his ex-girlfriend, I guess. Like I don't know who's suspicious.
That's the daughter of that the scientist guy who was trying to experiment on the protomolecule. She was initially an enemy of them because she was upset that they
What?
basically.
Julie Mao?
Yeah.
No, Julie Mao's
You're talking
dead.
about, you're talking about no, this is her sister. This is the older sister.
Oh, this is her sister.
Yes.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, she ended up getting put in jail. And in terms of why
Oh,
he's doing all of this, I
oh, really?
guess because we need to see more of his backstory, and she's like modified human, so maybe that'll come in handy.
I mean, I could see that coming in handy, especially like if they are going to face aliens. Like that would be pretty amazing. But I don't know. Like it's just because it seems like such a weird point. I mean, like I thought that so.
Yeah.
Using it out. Apparently, I was stupid. Clarissa Mao. Okay, I didn't. I didn't
Yeah,
know that she was Clara.
I think his whole point was just to get her. That his whole storyline was just to get her out of that prison. Same as with the asteroid hitting near the prison, like all convenience, so that she can get out.
So that she can get out. Yeah. I totally thought that I love that he was calling that big guy tiny the whole time, and he's like,
Oh,
say
yeah.
that again. Like I was like, oh my god, this guy's gonna go nuts when they get to the top, which they did. This guy went crazy. I was like, I saw that coming. Like
Oh yeah.
he was nuts. This guy. He's like,
He
I'm
was
gonna kill you
crazy.
guys. There he is. That's a good shot right there.
And I don't really understand why he was so angry. I mean, you're free, dude.
Yeah, I would have just been like peace. And
Yeah,
then
I
like
would
if
just
that
walked
chick tried
away.
to stop me. Yeah, if that chick tried to stop me, I'd be like, really? Like I just got you out, bitch. Really? You want me to kill you now? Because I could. And
And they
then
wouldn't
she would have
have.
been
I
like, never
mean,
mind, I'm gonna go home with my daughter now.
they wouldn't have done anything to him. All he had to do was walk away and just keep walking.
Yeah. Yeah. So what do you think is gonna happen? What is your predictions for the next episode? What do you think is gonna happen with Bobby
Oh,
and wait,
Alex?
what do we name them again?
Oh,
Yeah.
Balex?
Alex. What do you think is gonna happen with Alex? Because they're
I'm
like out in
hoping,
space now,
yeah, I
stranded.
hope they get away and make it back. I don't know, but I'm excited to see what happens with them for the first time in a while. They've just sort of been out there, just randomly looking for stuff. So I think their story's finally picking up, and I'm excited about that. Um, I am looking forward to seeing what happens with the Naros, whether he's going to get assassinated,
With
and
who?
with Marcos.
Oh, with Marcos.
Yeah,
Yeah, I don't know if that's gonna happen anytime soon, though. I don't think that's gonna happen like the next episode. Um, maybe
I
by
think
the end of
it'll
the
be Philippe
season.
who actually kills him, though.
Who? I'm sorry. Who?
I think it'll be Philippe.
Really?
Yeah, and this is
Huh.
why in the last episode you could see
Oh, there he is.
that
There he is.
there's some serious tension there between him and his father. On the
Mm.
one hand, he wants to, he knows he's disappointed in him. He wants um, to make him proud, but at the same time, he's afraid of him. And I don't think he likes seeing how his mother's treated.
Look
It
at
was
that.
so
Look at that
endearing.
look on his face. He kind of does seem a little like I don't want you to be in jail, but I guess you're gonna have to be kind of. I don't know.
Well, when
Maybe.
she tries to go after Marco and he intervenes, I think it was more because he knew that plan was going to fail, and it could mean that she would have been killed. Now,
Oh, I think he totally saw her with the knife,
yeah,
right?
mhm.
Yeah, I think so too. He stopped her.
And if you have this combination of him being abused by his dad and him seeing his dad being abusive to his mother,
Mm-hmm.
if Marco actually tries to kill her, he's gonna have to make a choice. And I think that Marco would never see it coming.
That's an interesting point, Jane, because he may be starting to see why she left
Exactly.
because he's so psychotic, like, and he's so weird. And now he's starting to realize, like, wait a minute, maybe my mom, like, maybe I would have run away too. Like, fuck, if that was me. Jimmy
She
says
didn't tell him. I
Balix
like
is
that she didn't
drifting
tell him.
through space. Hopefully, Drummer will pick them up. Yeah, maybe Drummer
Possibility.
finds Bobby and Alex. Jeff says that too. Yeah, maybe, because they're wait, but they're really far from each other, though. I don't see how that could happen.
I don't know, but I would love that.
I think what will happen is, personally, I think what's going to happen is, because now they're out of the out of range for that communications block. So I think that
Mhm.
Bobby's going to send that information to Avasarala, and I think that she's going to send them some sort of rescue. Personally, I think that that's what's going to
Oh,
happen.
okay.
But maybe
Mm.
I guess it could be interesting if Bobby and Alex are picked up by Drummer, but they're just so far away from each other. I don't see how that would work, because Drummer is now on his way to her way to Marcos, and Marcos is way out there, like not near Mars, and they're
I
near
like the
Mars.
I like the idea of Avasarala getting back involved, so that could work. That would bring
Yeah,
her
and I
back
and I
into
think, well,
the
obviously now she's gonna be putting on the pants again, because who knows where, like, all their politicians are. Like, they could all be dead after that last blast or whatever.
Yeah,
So I think
yeah.
that she's probably gonna get promoted back to her old job, maybe. But we don't know. We don't know. Another monsters in the house. What's up, y'all? Relax. I'm here now. The
Ooh,
Expanse is the best show on TV. I agree. It's very
it
good.
is.
Thank you for being here. Uh, Jimmy says Drummer's on her way to meet Marcos. Yeah. So they're like, but they're really on the other side, though. Because
Yeah.
I think Marcos he's in the outer place, right? Like, he's not in the inner planet, and they're
Right,
called the
right.
inners. So I don't know if she's all the way out there. Uh, Jeff says, I don't see Marcos dying this season. Ooh, and he's read the book, so that's a bit of a
Ooh,
spoiler alert. But
I think he will. I'm gonna call it.
oh, Jane coming in with the
I'm
predictions.
making a theory.
That's good. That's good. I love it. Yeah. Okay. Well, can you theorize anything about the return of Miller or the proto molecule or any of the cool things I like about? I don't.
I don't think Miller's coming back. I think he should. He's a fan favorite. Um, but I don't think he will. I think the protomolecule is gonna end up being used by those people who killed the builders, I think they're called. Um, whatever those creatures are, I think that's gonna show up at the end of this season.
What
And
creatures? The ones that are made from the proto molecule?
no, the ones who killed the ones who built the ring gate. The ones who Holden keeps seeing.
Oh, right.
I think they're going to come
I
through
know.
like you
I'm
were
so excited.
concerned about.
I think they're going to
And
come through too. I think they're
yeah,
going to come through.
and
I
hopefully they'll take us
wonder. I
into
wonder
next season.
when though. Are you sad that this might be, like, well, Jane?
Hello? What was that?
Hi. Are you sad that the next season might be the final season?
I don't like to think like that. I don't think it'll be
Okay.
the final season. I think the fans are going to um ensure that it comes back just like before. But if it is the final season, I've been
Well,
told
I read
it's a good place to stop.
an article.
You're frozen.
This last piece. Jeff says, "Oh no, am I again?
Oh, you're
Can you
back.
hear me? Oh no. Okay, thank God. I don't know what's going on. I really am like John Talks now. Apparently, I keep freezing." Um, Jeff Beeler says, "Did Balix just see Marcos meeting with his faction?" Well, they're supposed to go there now. I don't know. I don't think they have met yet. Will Gentry, hello. Cobra Kai never
Hello.
dies. I wouldn't know. I haven't seen it. Um, Jimmy says, I think Balix was watching them do some sort of deal.
Yeah, okay, I see what you're saying. They did see the Free Navy out there doing something, but I don't know if Marcos was with them or whether that was just his army amassed.
Yeah, that's what I think too. I think it was his army because I think he's way out, like his other ship, because he says, I have a bunch of ships.
Yeah.
So I don't think he's going to go make weapons deals while he's like, sending freaking asteroids from his main base to the Earth.
Yeah.
But I don't know. Who knows?
It's like a field of battle. The general isn't necessarily going to be on the field, you know?
Exactly. That's what I think. Like you don't necessarily go out into the battlefield yourself when you have minions. That's the whole point of having minions.
Right.
Is what killed the builders the black ships from Dark Matter? That's funny. That's funny. God knows.
I can't wait to see though. I love how they're represented in the show. When Holden showed Fred what this thing was, and that was another example of the writing where it faltered a little bit because nobody in their right mind would look at that and be like, "Oh, you're just making that up."
Whatever. Yeah.
Whatever. No.
Yeah. I was like, I would have expected a little bit more shock because he's like, show me some proof. And he's like, here you go. And he's like, whatever. I was just like, what? No,
he was like, have they killed anyone yet? Well, no, but
yeah, that was stupid. Jess says season 6 ends with book 6, and then there is 38 jump to book 7. So a new series set 38 years later. Ooh, yeah. See, that's what I read from the authors. Is that the author said that they're taking a break from making the series, not necessarily that it's going to end because apparently there's a lot more content. So they're kind of taking a break. Is what I read.
I'm okay with that. That'll give me time to read the book. So
yeah, me too. I was gonna say that. I'm like, I wouldn't mind a break so that I can catch up on my reading.
Back, though.
Will says, well, what are you doing sitting here then? Go watch it. Well, I'm talking about The Expanse, which is a way better series. Just saying. Start of series 3, I think. I have never seen even a single episode of Cobra Kai. That secretary woman was with them in space, and that hot Martian chick was there. Think that's where I got to. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay. So the 3rd season is what you're saying.
Okay.
I get that. That and someone's spaceship had just tried to land on Venus to see what the protomolecule has done. Okay, yeah, you're in season 3. Keep watching, Will.
It's just funny how he worded it.
I love it. This is exactly how I talk all the time. Especially when I don't remember any of the characters' names except for like the main crew. So like today when I was preparing for the show, I literally had like name because I didn't want to sound dumb. Like I have pictures with names under them and everything, and I keep forgetting freaking people's names anyways. Like I every time I'm like, Jayne, what was that guy's name again? Uh, so yeah, that's pretty much it. I guess if you want, I would be more than willing to talk about the the next episodes as they happen.
Definitely.
I would love to. I mean, yeah, we could talk about when does it come out? Is it Wednesdays or Tuesdays?
The 6th, I think, is the next day.
Oh, so Wednesday.
Yeah.
So we can maybe do, yeah, I don't know, maybe Thursday we can get together and talk about it, possibly.
I
Or
think
if you want to
Thursday.
wait until
Yeah.
after the season is over and then we can just talk about the season.
We could do that too. It's whatever. On Thursdays, we have the Battlestar Galactica
Oh,
discussion on Supreme Heretics channel at 8 Central. So if
oh,
anyone likes that, definitely check that out. But yeah, I think that would be cool because I can't wait to see what happens. They left us on a cliffhanger.
they did. They did. I mean, Balix is gonna. I want to know what happens to Balix. I'm with you though, girl. I think I was kind of shipping them too. I was like, Will says I can't even remember the name of the main crew. I think one of them was called Alex, but beyond that, I can't remember. Yeah, Alex is the pilot. The main guy's name is Holden, like the pretty boy guy. The girl he's in love with, his name is Naomi. And then there's Amos. He's like the big, burly
Yeah,
guy that's tough and wants to kill everybody.
the fraud.
Yeah, and that's pretty much it, right?
Yeah,
And then there's Bobby Draper, which is not really part of the main series or the main crew, but she's the Martian girl that kicks ass.
yeah. She represents sort of the Martian version of the Martian side of their alliance. And I
Mhm.
like Bobby. I think she's a perfect representation of the Martian people.
I do too. I really like her character too because like the Expanse does like female empowerment, right? I feel like
It does, yeah.
she's so strong, but she went through a lot to become that way. Like she's not like, she wasn't born like, I don't know, into this being like this, like, kind of like a Mary Sue kind of situation.
Mhm.
And same with Avasarala. Like she's a badass, but like her entire life she spent in politics. So she's like just really, this is why she's so smart and conniving, is because she's like has this build up to her.
She's learned, yeah. I mean, they both grew into it. Bobby's background, and this is another reason why I do kind of like the Martian world, is that you have to be tough to survive. You have to be a part of that, um, that sort of that strong, disciplined military type to make it.
Mm-hmm.
And Avasarala, you get a sense that she scraped and scrounged and fought and bled her way to the top, and
Yeah.
you can only respect that.
Didn't they leave Naomi behind on a space station to die?
Will, you are killing me.
That's funny.
That is hilarious.
Oh my God. Miss Martin says, save the cat, because Stieg said, give me a wrench or your cat's going to get it in D&D. You have a wrench now. I don't know. I know what. Oh boy. He was a terrorist. He threatened my cat in D&D. So I was like, obviously I'm going to give you a wrench because I don't want my cat to die. He threatened the life of my kitty.
He's Marcos.
I know, totally. Stieg, I don't think has seen The Expanse. I told him to watch it, but I don't think he has seen it. So Stieg, get out of here because we've been talking spoilers. Okay, yeah. Good night.
See,
Please go watch The Expanse, Stieg, because it's very good.
it
Um,
is. It's really
I'm trying to
good.
make says, so you threatened the cat to get a wrench. I know, right? Like, I shouldn't have given him a wrench because I shouldn't respond to terrorists. But
No, you did the thing that everybody does with Vikings. They just give them what they want and hope they'll leave. It never works.
never works. It never works. Elvis, is that Elvis? Is that what am I reading? Elvis?
Elvis
I can't read this. But
Ibrahimovic.
thank you. Says Belters blame Earth for everything, but Mars was always the big bad, right from the start with Phoebe. It's true. I agree. Earth gets all the blame. It's bullshit.
Yeah, the Martians, I mean, they have their share of responsibility in all of this. But they don't care. They're just trying to be a superpower. It's like we don't care.
We don't care.
We have the best tech in
Kai,
the universe.
I'm disappointed. You're trying to write an amazing book series. You should be watching The Expanse and taking notes, man. It's good. It's good stuff. Will says we got invaded by the damn French because of the Vikings.
Yep.
Okay. On that note, Jayne, thank you so much for joining me. We've been going for an hour and 21 minutes. I think we've basically said all there's been need to said about The Expanse unless you have something else to add.
No, thanks for having me. This has been fun. I love this show and I love talking about it. So anytime, definitely.
I love talking about it too. It's so much fun, and I can't wait to see the rest of the series. Check out Jayne's channel, guys. She has a couple of videos about The Expanse now.
Yeah, I have some recaps from season 1 through 4, and I'm doing recaps of the episodes. So definitely check that out.
So there you go, Will. If you want to remember what you saw, you can go and watch the recaps from season 1 to 3. Stop at 3 though, because you haven't seen 4. You don't want any spoilers.
Right.
But yeah, thank you for being here, Jayne. I really appreciate it. Let's get together soon and talk about the rest of the series.
Yay.
Yeah, and you can also find us on Rogue Entertainment on Tuesdays and Saturdays. Although I don't think I'll be here. I'll be there next Tuesday because Steven wants to do like a whole show about Cobra Kai apparently, and I'm like,
Yeah.
Cobra Kai. All right, I'm out, I guess. That's funny. People are getting into it now. Thanks, girls. Much appreciated, Jayne. You should give me a rent. What? This is my channel, Jayne.
I'll do like John and just give everybody a wrench.
No, it's on Amazon Prime. It used to be on Netflix, but now it's on Amazon Prime. The Expanse. Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, it was on the Netflix for a while.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
I'm glad it moved.
I'm kind of glad it moved too, but I mean, I really don't care actually. I have easier access to Netflix, so I mean, I wouldn't mind it being back on Netflix, but I like being a pirate too, so it's okay. Everybody have a great night. Love you guys. Thanks for being here to hang out with us, talk about The Expanse. And yeah, so we'll see you guys next time when we talk about this. Thank you very much. And
Good
have
night.
a great night, everybody. Let me put my outro. Here we go. Take care. Bye.